Hey guys, AJYT Abbott here, and May has ended, and I have 11 movies that I watched, and I'm ready to rank them. So let's talk about them. Let's rank them today. If you guys haven't seen these movies that I'm going to talk about, just please be mindful that there may be some spoilers in here, except for one of them that I can't go into spoilers to yet, because I got to watch it early, so I can't really say anything spoilery about it anyway. But we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. Just like I said, be careful. There might be some spoilers when I'm talking about why these movies rank where they do. And let's get started.
You thought you were gonna be some great saviors? You can't even save yourself.
Kicking off the month with Thunderbolts. This is a movie that I was looking forward to for a long time. Got a bunch of merch for it, pops. I was just so excited for it because the idea of this ragtag group of anti-heroes that kind of want to be better than what they are, and they find that purpose and that strength to move on what they've done in their past to kind of become something better, become a symbol of hope or a hero or something like that. The fact that they find it in this group of people that they meet, they come together and they have to save people. I just love that concept. Guardians of the Galaxy did it extremely well, and this is another movie that does that extremely well. There's definitely some formulaic stuff in here from the MCU. There's definitely moments in here that I wish we got some more depth to, some more development for, like characters like Ghost or Bucky. I could have used a bit more time and development with. But overall, I felt the emotion through the performances from Florence Pugh as Yelena, as well as Lewis Pullman as Bob. You've got Bucky being badass in here. Red Guardian is providing some great humor. I love John Walker, as I mentioned in my Thunderbolts ranking. If you guys haven't seen that, I ranked every member of the Thunderbolts team. You go check that out if you haven't already. But I love John Walker. He just gets dogged on the entire film. I love the Void stuff. That was just really dark. Like I said, I wish we would have had some more time to kind of develop, these other characters through that. Have them go through their own Void trauma box. But nonetheless, I was just laughing. I was enjoying myself throughout the entire movie. I found it to be charming. And the thing is that you really have to care. You really have to buy into these characters and want to know more about them, and you want to be attached to them if you want this movie to work for you. And going into this movie, I was excited to see them. I was excited to learn more about them. And for the most part, I got that, and I was invested, and I had a great time. So Thunderbolts going on the awesome tier. One of my absolute favorites of the year so far. Next, I'm kind of cheating here, but we have The Ugly Stepsister. This released on Shudder this month. It technically released in theaters last month in April, but I didn't get to watch it until this month when it dropped on Shudder. And this is a movie that I was anticipating. I saw the trailer for it, and I was like, this looks very Substance vibe. This looks very intense, looks very horrific, and yeah, it's exactly what it is. If you've seen my review for it, I talk about how not a lot of horror movies get me to gag, but this movie made me gag on several occasions. The body horror is grotesque. The humor of it, the best way to describe this movie, I think I also said this in the review possibly, it's got that body horror and that uncomfortable feeling of The Substance, mixed with the absurdist humor of Yorgos Lanthimos' film, Poor Things. And that blend, it just goes together like crazy in this movie. It is just such a ride. I think the performances, especially from our lead character playing Elsa, the ugly stepsister, I thought that she was fantastic in this. This is a very dark retelling of the Cinderella story. There's plenty of moments in here where I wish they maybe could have shied away a little bit during some of the nudity. Look, I'm no stranger to dicks and vaginas and all that shit in movies. But do we really need close-ups on certain things? And I'm not going to get into it, gross you guys out too much, because we do have to talk about Bring Her Back in a little bit. Not in this video. I'm doing a review for that later. That's why it's not included in this ranking. But there's some gross stuff in that movie, and there's some really gross stuff in this one. And I found it to be really entertaining, really uncomfortable, and yeah, I dug the hell out of it. So Ugly Stepsister is going in the great tier.
Yeah, very funny, man.
Next, we got Clown in a Cornfield. This is a new clown slasher film, and this is also going to be coming on Shudder relatively soon, within the next month, probably. This movie, I went into it not knowing a whole lot about it. I didn't even watch the trailer. And going into it, I was like, alright, maybe this is gonna be, you know, decent enough slasher, and that's kind of what it came out to be. It's a decent watch. It's not anything I would really watch again, but it is entirely watchable. It's not bad. It's not really that great, in my opinion. It's nothing that special. I like the fact that there's multiple clown killers. I thought the performance from our lead final girl was actually pretty good, and I'd like to see her in more things. You've also got Kevin Durand in there. He was very entertaining. Yeah, just not really doing anything new to the clown slasher genre. You know, when we have our Terrifiers and our Pennywise, because when, you know, we're getting Welcome to Derry later this year, that stuff's coming back. You know, clown slashers are really coming back thanks to Art the Clown. And this movie, I'm not trying to compare this in any way to the Terrifier movies, because I love those. Those movies are awesome. But this movie just doesn't feel like it adds anything new. It's very predictable. I predicted almost every twist in here. The story beats with certain characters. They don't get enough development or time for you to really latch on to anything and care. There's a few humorous moments in there, a few decent kills, but overall nothing all that memorable. So Clown in the Cornfield, it's going in the mid-tier. It's a fine watch. Oh boy, Final Destination Bloodlines. This is a movie that I was looking forward to for years, because ever since it was announced, I cannot wait to see more people die in the most improbable ways possible, where stuff keeps falling over, something happens, these circumstances fall perfectly into place for death to come for you, and I really love the opening sequence in this movie. It is by far, outside of the log truck scene, this is the best premonition of the franchise. It is second to the log truck scene in the second film. This movie just really has everything you want out of Final Destination. It's got the humor, it's got the gore, it has got the crazy outlandish deaths that you want, including an MRI machine. There are logs involved in this. There is a garbage truck one that's pretty gnarly. And then there's also all the ones that we get in the premonition that were very entertaining. I was having a blast watching that, especially when this kid gets flattened by a piano. You've seen the film, you know what that kid did. He fucking deserved it. Just really entertaining through and through. Tony Todd's cameo in this movie was really emotional. It hit me in the feels. Just really feeling like he was saying goodbye to us and his fans. I just really appreciated that. The direction is really great. I hope these guys get to do another Final Destination film. I found the characters to be ones that you can latch on to. Not necessarily the main character. I don't call her one of the strongest leads in the franchise, but that's just kind of the way she's written. I would say that Eric, played by Richard Harmon, I believe, he was my most favorite character in this movie, and he might be my favorite character in the Final Destination movies. He's awesome in this. I love that. He gets the MRI kill I was mentioning, but yeah. Stellar kills all across the board. CGI needs a bit of work, and the third act does feel a little bit rushed, but overall, had a great time with this. Final Destination Bloodlines, going on the great tier.
I'm really sorry about this. I really am.
Oh my god, hurry up tomorrow. Oh god, hurry up and just get past this section so I never have to talk about this fucking movie again. I hated this movie. I'm not putting it on the awful tier, but I'm so tired of even thinking about this movie, because The Weeknd made this movie. He co-produced it, I'm pretty sure. He co-wrote it. He stars in it as himself, and it is the biggest ego trip movie I've ever seen in my life. It's just feeding his ego the entire movie. Pardon my verbiage here, but like, it's just, he's jerking himself off to himself the whole movie. That's what it feels like. Jenna Ortega is in here. Barry Keoghan is in here. Barry's kind of wasted, but Jenna, even though she doesn't get as much time as possible, because, you know, you gotta focus on the weekend. He's the main fucking guy here. But when you get Jenna Ortega, I feel like she's giving it her all. She's clearly the only one giving it her all in these scenes between her and the weekend, because, whew, man. Abel, you need to stick to music, man. You are not meant for acting. You're not going to get anything but Razzies for this performance. Wow. Non-existent story, unlikable lead character. They make The Weeknd an unlikable guy, and after this movie just being the biggest ego-feeding movie I've seen, where it's just a big commercial for his music, this could have easily worked for a music video. But no, they extend it to a full-length film. That just makes me pissed off that, like, wow. You didn't go, you know, you couldn't have just made this a music video. No, you had to take this to a studio, say, hey, I want to co-produce this, I want to co-write it, I want to star in it, get the spotlight on me, put Jenna Ortega in there, because people love her, and let's make this movie. And I hope it makes jack shit, and I don't think it's making jack shit right now. I hope it gets pulled out of theaters early, because this movie doesn't deserve your time, your money. It is a waste. I dislike it heavily. It's going in the bad tier. I want to put it in the awful tier. But look, we've had Amy Schumer, we've had The Woman in the Yard. I don't think it's that level of bad, because there is some decent cinematography and some other filmmaking things in here that I do appreciate. Plus Jenna Ortega, which you can't complain with Jenna Ortega, but God, I'm done talking about this movie. Hurry up, let's move on to the next one.
I have no regrets. Neither should you.
We're talking about Tom Cruise now. This ought to put me in a better mood than Hurry Up Tomorrow. The Mission Impossible, The Final Reckoning. This is the supposed final film in the Mission Impossible franchise, and wow, what a ride it's been. Tom Cruise in his 60s, hanging off of a plane in this movie, going underwater in this submarine that they actually had to turn and do practical stunts with. I love the work that goes into these movies. It is such a dedication from everyone, the cast, the crew, everybody is just putting it all on the line to deliver an entertaining experience for us. And yeah, Final Reckoning is an entertaining as hell Mission Impossible movie. I definitely have issues with not that I felt the pacing extremely, but there were certain moments where I did kind of feel the pacing slowing down a little bit here and there to give us a load of exposition. This movie is exposition heavy. This might be the most expositionized, is that a word? Exposition heavy movie of the Mission Impossible franchise, which is saying a lot. But, look, at the end of the day, even though it's riddled with flashbacks, it's riddled with exposition, certain things that there's conveniences that happen, they're like, okay, that's a little bit impossible. But look, stunts. Tom Cruise nails the stunts. This has got the heart. I love Simon Pegg. I love Ving Rhames. I love Haley Atwell. I wish some of these side characters got a little bit more time, but it's a great time. It's entertaining as hell, and I'm looking forward to watching it again. So, Final Reckoning is going in the great tier.
No. Control him. Hey, what are you doing?
Let's talk about a Disney live-action remake, Lilo and Stitch. This is a movie that, I think out of all of these, this is the only one that after I watched it, I docked my rating a little bit. This was a 7 out of 10, and I dropped it to a 6 after thinking about it more. This movie does have some of the charm of the original movie. It does. A little bit. With the sisterly dynamic, even though in the end, they kind of fuck that up. Look, Stitch is cute. Great CGI on Stitch. I was loving watching him go around, you know, different places causing chaos. That was my main source of enjoyment for this movie. Also, Maya Kaloha, I believe might be her name. I'm sorry if I'm butchering that. As Lilo. Awesome. Also, Nani's actress was great. The Hawaii, like, scenery, it's great to be there. It's great to see that in live action for them to be on location filming this. At least I hope they were. They had to be, right? But they make changes, like making Jumbo the villain, changing up things with Cobra Bubbles, having Nani go off to college, lose custody of Lilo, and say, fuck off, I'm going to go study marine biology while you stay with our neighbor character that was just implemented into this for really no reason. Why? Why? Why did we have that ending? Why? I don't understand. I don't understand why they did that ending with Nani just completely saying, "Hey, I'm gonna go study biology. You're staying with the neighbor. I'll come see you in, I don't know, a few months or something. Just behave yourself." And you don't get that great resolution with them all rebuilding the house with Jumba and Pleakley. You get Pleakley, but not Jumba. It just felt like they became a family. They became stronger as a unit when in the beginning of the film they're kind of broken. And in the end, even though like Cobra Bubbles is randomly a part of the family, he's like telling Lilo, "Hey, don't do that tic-tac dance," or whatever the hell. Like, it doesn't feel earned. It's a fine movie. It's just a fine watch, just like Clown in the Cornfield. It's like perfectly watchable. Maybe I'd watch it again just to see if it gets better or worse. But I don't know. Lilo and Stitch going in the mid-tier for now.
We had a couple of really nice hangs, but I think it best that we go our separate ways. I don't wish to continue this friendship.
Let's talk about A24's friendship. This has Tim Robinson and Paul Rudd together. The chemistry with these two in this movie is awesome. You have Tim Robinson's character who becomes friends. He becomes infatuated with Paul Rudd's character. And over to the course of the movie, there's some awkward moments that happen, and Paul Rudd's like, "Look, we gotta cut this friendship off. I don't think this is gonna work." And Tim Robinson is devastated. He's absolutely devastated, and throughout the entire movie, he just starts trying to get back in good graces with him, and just makes everything worse, really, within his own life and Austin's life. Really, this is just such a fun movie. This is one of the most hilarious, if not this is the most hilarious movie of the year. 100%. Tim Robinson's humor, I can see why it might not be for everyone, and yeah, there are some scenes in here that it's like, okay, why are we doing this? Why are we going this far with it? But evidently, by the end of the movie, I didn't give a shit, because I was just laughing my ass off. I had a big old smile on my face. I was like, yes, I want to watch this again. I just had such a great time with it. I am only vaguely familiar with Tim Robinson's comedy. I'm 55 burgers, 55 fries, 55, I know all that. I know that stuff, and the fedora and everything. Brian's hat, or whatever the hell that sketch is. I know about that stuff. I'd only seen the clips of it, but here you really get a lot of that in a 90, is it like 100 it's like a 100-minute movie, like an hour and 40 minutes, something like that. And yeah, it can get tiring for some, but for me, I was just enjoying the hell out of it. I found it hilarious. I found it to be kind of sad on the inside, too, at its core, because you're telling the story about this guy that just desperately wants to have a friend, desperately wants to feel connection and freedom. He's like, you make me feel too free. His wife, played by Kate Mara. I'm sorry if I've got that wrong. I think it's Kate Mara. Their relationship just gets worse and worse and worse as the film goes on, and then just when you think it's going good, goes to shit in the end. And I loved it. I loved the conclusion. I can't wait to show this one to the boys. This is one that me and the boys have to watch. So, friendship is going in the great tier. With time, could even go to the awesome tier. I'm serious.
2 branches, 1 tree.
How about Karate Kid Legends? Did anyone go see that this past weekend? Man, what a letdown. What a bring down bummer of a movie. Because I have been watching the Karate Kid movies. I've only seen the Karate Kid and 2010 Karate Kid. I've only seen those two, but I watched those two like a week ago. And you could say, yeah, I guess you're gonna like this movie if you're not as big of a Karate Kid fan, if you're just looking for a serviceable enough movie to watch. And yeah, this movie's perfectly watchable. It's not anything offensive, it's not anything god-awful, but man, as someone that just watched them a week ago, I was invested. I found myself emotionally and like, I was engaged. I was invested in these characters. I was invested in Daniel LaRusso, even Jaden Smith's Dre in the 2010 movie. I love Miyagi. I love Jackie Chan's Mr. Han, and seeing Mr. Han and Ralph Macchio's Daniel LaRusso come together in this movie was awesome. The nostalgia is great, even though the story hardly gives any reason for really either of them to be there. I mean, Mr. Han has some reason because he's connected to Lee, played by Ben Wang. He does a great job, by the way. But Ralph Macchio feels like he was put in this movie just for marketing. Just for the nostalgia bait. It's like, hey, we got Daniel LaRusso back. You gotta go watch this because you loved Cobra Kai, even though I heard Cobra Kai kind of fell off in the last season or so. But I don't know. I haven't seen that either. So I went into this movie expecting something great. And I walked out of it and I was severely disappointed. Ben Wang is really the only bright spot that I'm going to remember about this movie because it just follows beat for beat for beat the Karate Kid story, except for it takes a detour in the first 40 minutes where it does the boxing adult instead of the Karate Kid, where he's teaching Joshua Jackson's character to do boxing, but with Kung Fu, but not Kung Fu because it's still boxing. It doesn't make any sense. It just doesn't make sense. The story fell off for me hard. Don't waste your time with this. If you want to go see, I don't know, if you want to go see anything this weekend, just go see The Final Reckoning if you haven't seen that already, man. God. Just don't waste your time with Karate Kid Legends. It's going in the mid-tier.
Is this supposed to be here? It was under the lunch trolley.
Oh dear, who shot you?
Tara's from out of town. Help yourself to a hand grenade.
Okay, we got Wes Anderson's latest film, The Phoenician Scheme. This one I'm not going to spend too much time on because I can't talk too spoilery about it because it's not actually wide released until June 6th, which I guess I should have put it on the June ranking, but I'm putting it here. Screw it. But Wes Anderson is a director that I've loved for a long time. I love all of his films, pretty much. Even Asteroid City is the weakest one I've seen. I really do enjoy it. And this is the one I did the review on recently, so I'm not going to, beat a dead horse here. But it's just a really fun time. It's a charming movie. You've got Benicio del Toro, Mia Threepleton, and Michael Cera are the highlights there. You got Tom Hanks, Bryan Cranston playing these two brothers that I really enjoyed. Or I think they were brothers. I'm sorry if I got that wrong. There's just so much going on in this story. The chaos, I was loving every bit of it. As always, Wes, he shoots these movies expertly. Great cinematography, great use of color, and the framing, the blocking of everyone in the shots. Just love all that stuff. Yeah, entertaining movie. Definitely go check it out June 6th. So let's move on. This movie, The Phoenician Scheme, is going in the great tier.
A whole bunch of people have disappeared. Where are all the prom queens?
And we're ending things off, or at least I ended my month off, with watching Fear Street Prom Queen. Now keep in mind, I haven't seen any of the other Fear Street movies. I just heard that this one is very loosely connected to the other one, so I thought, alright, I'm gonna take a risk here, watch this movie, and yeah, I don't feel like I didn't feel like I missed anything from the other movies, so I might watch those sometime soon, but Fear Street Prom Queen is shit. This movie just had me bored out of my mind. It just, from the moment that they start with the prom queen stuff in the beginning, I mean, this movie is front-loaded as shit. The first, 5-10 minutes are just, heavy. Not 10 minutes, 5 minutes. First 5 minutes are heavy exposition as to, who these girls are in the school, where they fit in with the social hierarchy of the school, who's running for prom queen, who's with who does who's friends with who's popular and who's not. And I just felt like, wow, we are just taking out any of the intrigue I would have had with these characters. Because as soon as they were starting out, I was like, okay, that's the mean girl, that's the not popular girl, that's the not popular girl that's going to hang out with our main character and be, best friends, and they're going to have a breakup towards the middle of the movie, and yeah, that's what happens. There's kills in this movie that I thought were good gore. Really, the thing that drew me into this movie the most, I was like, alright, Ariana Greenblatt is in this movie. Even when she's in shit like Borderlands, I find her enjoyable. Talking too fast. But then she gets killed. She gets killed off first thing within 20 minutes of the movie, 25 minutes in the movie, she gets killed. I was like, oh. Alright, well, I'm here now. Might as well watch the rest of it. And it was just predictable, beat for beat, just predictable as hell. About like 45, 50 minutes in the movie, I was able to narrow down, like, okay, that's who it is. This is their reasoning. She's probably in on it, and yeah, it's exactly what you think it is. The mean girl and her parents are the one. Imagine that. The mean girl and her parents that are out to get the main character and like want to humiliate her and want to down her and be just pure fucking dicks to her the whole time about her dead father. They're the bad guys. Big shock there, am I right? Oh my god. Just boring. I couldn't wait for it to end. I just wanted these people to die, and luckily a lot of them did. Some of them ridiculously so, and some of them get killed, and then they're like, oh no, they did survive. Like this guy gets his arm cut off, and then they're carrying him out on a stretcher with his arm. They have his arm on a like a towel or something they're carrying. I thought that was kind of funny, but guys, Fear Street Prom Queen is just a really, really bad time. I just did not care for it at all. It's going in the bad tier, so that's gonna wrap up my ranking. This one's gonna run a little bit longer than normal, just because we had like 11 movies to talk about. Holy crap! My jaw is getting sore here. Thanks so much for watching, guys. I'm sorry. I seem a little bit out of it here, but I've been talking for 26 minutes now, and my jaw is getting sore and I'm tired. So I'm gonna go lay down, and I hope you guys enjoyed the tier list. Thanks so much for watching, and goodbye.